Now, things are pretty grim for the Democrats in the United States. They realize that the Republicans have the House, they have the White House, they have the Senate, they have the popular vote, and they also have the Supreme Court. Really, really bad. But there's at least one light at the end of the tunnel. There's an elderly judge on the Supreme Court, Judge Sotomayor, which may resign, right? Like, she is of age, and if she decides to resign now, then Joe Biden can appoint another judge. Truth be told, she's already leaning left, so the Democrats wouldn't call this a win. Like, even if they would put Kamala Harris in her place, and by the way, this is something that they suggested, it wouldn't change much, because, like, usually when they say the Supreme Court is leaning right, they would account for Sotomayor leaning left. But here you have Bernie Sanders actually discussing this on mainstream television.
Senator, quickly before I let you go, I do want to ask you about the Supreme Court. Some Democrats behind the scenes quietly talking about the possibility, should Justice Sotomayor step down, to allow President Biden to appoint someone who's younger. She's only 70 years old. Is that something that you would support? Do you think she should step down?
No, I don't.
Have you heard any talk of this?
A little bit, yes. I don't think it's a sensible approach.
And you don't think it's a sensible approach?
Correct.
All right.
He is absolutely fuming. There is no way that this man doesn't have anything short of seething towards his political party. And I don't blame him. I mean, he probably thinks, and it may be true, that if he ran against Trump, he may have won. If he would have ran instead of Hillary, he may have won, but they stole that away from him. Not once, but twice. And then they didn't even hold a primary. Like, maybe instead of Kamala Harris, people would have actually chose Bernie Sanders. Now, it's unlikely, but maybe it would have happened. So he is absolutely livid that this is the case. On top of that, I heard him speak, and he is saying that the Democrat Party has left the working class, and the working class has left the Democrat Party. And this is absolutely true due to the fact that the Democrat Party is insanely deep into identity politics. So deep into identity politics that they have lost the vote of young men. And it's not like young men don't believe the Democrat Party, because that can happen. Like, you lose a certain demographic because you are promising them stuff, but they don't believe that you will get it done, or they don't believe that you plan on it. No. The Democrat Party, like, flat out offers nothing to young men except ridicule. And the only thing that they have shown that they understand what young men want is sex. Like, this is the only thing that they promised young men. It's like, hey, the Republicans want to take your porn away, which is not even true. But we, the Democrat Party, are going to protect your pornography. This is the only thing that I could say, yeah, this is something that at least they thought is on the table for young men. And a lot of young men are working class, right? So, like, this is what Bernie Sanders is talking about. But their understanding of what young men want is also bizarre and bewildering. It's like, holy shit. I actually looked into this. Like, I wanted to know why is it that they're so disconnected. And, for the ideology that talks a lot about representation and how important representation is, you gotta understand that politicians have consultants. And the consultants are the ones that are supposed to tell the politicians, okay, this is what Black people need right now. This is what Hispanics need right now. But when it comes to young men, instead of selecting a single person that could represent from the young man demographic, all they have is either elderly people or people from the LGBT community. Like, they do not have many consultants that are actually straight, cisgender white men. So they completely lost this demographic this election. And they also lost the women as well. But Bernie Sanders puts it best. They lost the working class. This is the biggest issue. So to see Bernie Sanders respond like this, the only thing that I can understand is that he is fuming. He no longer likes this party. I mean, he is old enough, I think he may retire. And he doesn't recognize his own party anymore. And he wants them to suffer. This is the only thing that I can accept, like, suffer. You know, you did this to yourselves. Like, you placed yourself in this situation. It's very unlikely for the sitting president to not get reelected. Like, that is the exception throughout history. And this is true in most countries. Usually, a president has, like, 2 terms, right? So, like, if you win the first term, you usually get elected the second time. The exception is when you don't. So what happened here is very unusual, right? Like, it should have been for Joe Biden to win the second term, but they didn't want Joe Biden to run. They decided, no, you're not going to run. And instead they put Vice President Harris, which is absolutely maddening. Like, the idea that the left thought that she can win when she was polling as the most unpopular vice president in history. Like, a lot of people forget that, but it's true. And they were gaslighting the people like no tomorrow. They were gaslighting the people about the fact that the economy is great, that the crime is low. They were gaslighting people that, despite the fact that Kamala Harris was the most unpopular, the moment she decided to run, she was surging in popularity like a rock star, going past Donald Trump that just survived an assassination attempt. Like, they were using the mainstream media to create this bizarre illusion that, you know, it was so painfully obvious that's not true. Like, you can't tell me that, you know, a person that's the most unpopular without having, like, some event happening. You know, like, if she would have survived an assassination attempt, then that would have made sense, but no. If she would have managed to give a speech, like a motivational speech, then I would understand. If she saved a burning orphan from a building, I would get it, you know, but like none of that happened. Or hey, you know, if her opponent, if Donald Trump would have made a massive gaffe, sure, but none of that happened, and we were led to believe that all of a sudden she is like super popular and the economy is amazing, and her entire campaign was pretending that she's like an outsider. She was pretending that, well, if I get into office, I will fix things. It's like, hold on a little bit. You're vice president, and you already proven, like your party has proven, that they can muscle out Joe Biden out of the campaign. So, like, why haven't they done it up till now? Why haven't they fixed it up till now? It's absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, the thing is, though, I generally don't know who the Democrats have anymore. Like, there is no politician that the Democrats have which is charismatic, which has the abilities of being a good leader. I think, like, they have Gavin Newsom, which doesn't say a lot, but, like, yeah, you know, like, he has some presence and he can have speeches without reading the prompter. This is the bar now, by the way. Like, this is where the bar is at. So, and he doesn't poll very well. Like, don't get me wrong. People will say, well, wait, Gavin Newsom. It's like, that's what they got. Don't look at me, look at them. That's it. That's the best they can pull out, you know? Even AOC, like, AOC used to be the Bernie Sanders, but people consider her as having sold out. And I don't blame her. I mean, she definitely displayed a lot of luxury, and she displayed, you know, like, you can't say eat the rich when you're displaying and you're flaunting this obscene amount of wealth. Bernie Sanders is wealthy, but he doesn't flaunt it. That's the difference. And by the way, the working class knows that. Like, they actually care about your presentation. Like, at least here in Eastern Europe. I don't know how it's in America. But if you, like, are a person that's supposed to represent the marginalized and you're flaunting all this wealth, the marginalized don't really like that. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.